Design for conservation is a method that can help teams tackle environmental challenges collaboratively and effectively.
My name is Gabriela Barron, and in this video I will explain how to use the Conservation Challenge Canvas, which is one of the main tools of the Understand phase. This tool will help teams diagnose the problem they are intending to tackle, make sense of the information they already have, understand which other information they might need, and eventually agree on actionable design challenges that emerge from the problem. You can download this tool for free at designforconservation.com. You can print this template in A3 size or larger, or work on it on a digital collaboration tool, such as Mira.
The Conservation Challenge Canvas has 5 sections. With your team, you can discuss the contents of each section and then write a summary of your agreements in each of the boxes. Remember, you do not have to get it just right. This is a working document, like the rest of our tools. So the first section is project goals. Start by agreeing on the grand challenge that you're trying to address. An example could be restoring the biodiversity of Aotearoa, New Zealand. By acknowledging grand challenges, you do not lose sight of the complex system that affects your project. Now, think about which specific conservation problem you will try to frame for this project. This should be a smaller, approachable part of the grand challenge, such as carry out riparian planting in X area of the region. Then try to determine one or more project goals. Be specific. For example, engage the local community to support this project, or help local communities obtain seeds of indigenous plants free of charge, if you want to be more specific. Once you agree on your project goals, think about which sustainable development goals this project relates to. The SDGs are a collection of 17 interlinked global goals designed by the United Nations. Aligning with the SDGs will help the team categorize the project and align with a global community. In this case, the most evident SDG would be Life on Land. Let's now describe the context of the project. D4C understands the importance of working locally with the people that are most affected by the problem, and for this very same reason, they are experts on the matter. Consider that indigenous communities have been carrying out conservation successfully over centuries. How are you respecting their work or partnering with them in this project? Do you have any cultural obligations in this context? In our example, we need to observe the Treaty of Waitangi, since this project's context is the occupied land of Maori indigenous peoples. Working in a specific physical context will present specific challenges, so try to think about these relationships. For example, coastal communities of Auckland are highly susceptible to climate change, specifically rising sea levels. Then try to capture different voices that you've heard about this problem. You might want to explore conflicting opinions, such as, mowed and tidy lawns mean that you're a responsible citizen. Or, I love birdsong in my yard. I need plants that provide food for these birds and habitat to insects. Think about specific requirements or constraints that will affect this project, such as funders might pay for advertising and seeds, but not the workforce. Or, due to water scarcity, we cannot water lawns during the summer season. Now you are ready to identify your main stakeholders. Stakeholders refer to those most affected by this problem or your project. Who should have a say in this? Who could be your partners? Try to write down the main stakeholders. You don't need to fill all the boxes or limit them to 3 for each category. Let's start with humans. Who are the main people that are affected by this problem? Try to consider also groups of people, or what we call archetypes. These could be citizens of a specific area, students, pedestrians, etc. The non-human box is where you can write down specific species, ecosystems, places, ecological events, and even in some countries, places are considered beings. So that could be a mountain or a river. You could also consider spiritual beings or deities. Anything that you would categorize as non-human. Then think about institutions. Here you can write down any institution that will be affected by this challenge or that you need as an ally, such as a governmental institution, a business, an NGO, etc. Is there anything or anyone else that should be considered? Write it down here. Almost there. Let's now identify our design challenges. This is the most important part of the canvas. Here you should write actionable questions that should be positive and clear, and try to be very specific. You can use the how might we formula. For example, how might we encourage local citizens to rewild their backyards with local indigenous plant species? That's specific enough. And in this section, you can have more than one design challenge as well. Finally, we will try to describe the impact that we expect our project to have. What will happen if your project works? How will you define success? We will describe different impact indicators and speculate on how these could be measured. Think about short, medium, and long-term indicators of success. This could be aligned with a theory of change if you have one. This can be quantitative or qualitative, such as more native birds in the area, indicated by birds every square meter. So that's a quantitative measure. Or songbird background noise while engaging in outdoor activities. That's qualitative. It refers to the experience. Qualitative indicators are experiential, more detailed, and relate better to indigenous approaches. They also allow for environmental signs to be considered as omens. Well done! This document is an excellent starting point. It will help teams make the agreements that will guide the rest of the design for conservation process. The next step will be to start defining your stakeholder personas, which I will explain in the upcoming video.
By completing this canvas, participants will have a better shared understanding of how the conservation challenge is framed. The team might not get it right the first time, but you can always come back and refine your canvas once you have gained deeper understanding. Remember that this is just one of the tools of the Design for Conservation toolkit. So learn more at designforconservation.com.